Hey. Oh man, this is exciting. So, welcome to our leadership event. You know, leadership sounds scary for a lot of people. It's like, am I a leader? How do I lead? Will I ever be able to build a team who will respect me as a leader? Will I ever be able to move out of my own way so that I can develop other leaders who perhaps can move beyond me, faster than me, and be even better than me? So that can be scary. I get it. But I believe John C. Maxwell came out with a path that makes your journey a lot easier. It's called the 5 levels of leadership. It allows you to determine where you are and take it step by step. So even here the first night, you can identify where you are and decide how fast and how far you like to move as a leader. One of the note-taking philosophies and principles that I learned was something called ACT. And it helped me as a leader to take a different type of note. And because this is a leadership conference, I'll share it with you. So A, as you're taking notes throughout this weekend, you put an A next to things you feel like, man, I should be applying this. I can apply this. Oh, this is good. I'll start applying this right away. What a great takeaway. Things you can study on the plane or in your car ride as long as you're not driving, and start applying right away. You can put a C next to things, lessons that you learned throughout this weekend, for things that you'd like to change. Man, I was doing that wrong. I didn't even realize I was messing up. I need to put a C there next to that note because I need to change some things. And do you know that you can change one thing and it changes everything about your future? Like the next 6 months don't have to look like the last 6 months because you've made one change. I pray that somebody gets that change this weekend. That's C. T, because this is a leadership event, is what you should teach. It's a lesson that you say, man, I can't wait till I sit down with my 2 new associates who couldn't come. I can't wait for my next conference call where I can share. If someone says, hey, look, where'd you get out the event? I can go to all my T's, and these are things I think I should be teaching. Teaching, my workout partner who couldn't come. Teaching my associates who couldn't come. ACT. You guys got it? So I'm going to briefly go through the 5 levels of leadership for you this evening to preface this entire weekend. And then I'll talk to you about some things that you can do to perhaps increase the pace in which you move and build upon each level of leadership. So the first level of leadership is position. This is the lowest level of leadership. It's a level that all of us have. Right? Because you all have a position. It's at least associate. So we all have this level, and people follow because they have to, quite frankly. Not necessarily because they want to, but because they have to. So let's talk about this positional leadership here, because these are people who lead because of their title. And we have to be really careful using our title unless it's for responsibility. For an example, if I was leading a particular market, I live in Maryland, so if I'm leading the market, the Maryland market, and I wanted to use my title, I would say, hey, look, as one of the leaders here in Maryland, it's my responsibility to make sure there's trainings for you. And I just wanted to let you know that there are 2 trainings coming up. You see, I could take responsibility. Hey, I just wanted to apologize. We changed the meeting location last minute, and as your leadership, that was up to me to let you know in advance, and I let you know this week when it should have been weeks in advance. So I could say who I am to identify that it was my responsibility. We should not use our title, however, when we're trying to lead someone, because at that point it becomes management. And there is a difference between a boss and a leader. Now, a boss can be a leader, or a boss can be only a manager. Great bosses are leaders as well. Here's how this works. If I want to do it the wrong way, I would say, hey, because I'm the ring earner, you need to do this. Because I'm a millionaire club member, that's why. Some of us done that as parents, haven't we? Because I'm the daddy. Right? I guess it could be okay in that scenario. And so this is called positional leadership, right? Again, the lowest level of leadership there is, but it's still a necessary piece of the 5 levels. See, what most folks think, if they've not heard of the 5 levels of leadership, they think that it's like a staircase where you move from level 1 to level 2 to level 3, leaving the other levels behind. But I want you to really wrap your mind around this as I go through these 5 levels, that you never leave a level behind. You build upon the level, because different people are going to be at different levels with you. Okay? And I'll talk about that in 1 second. So if I had 5 people on my team, I may be at a level 1 right now because they just met me and someone introduced me as, hey, this is our leadership, our platinum. They only know me at that point as position. But someone else who I may meet and work with them for a while, I built some relationship there. And so I've moved up to level 2 with that person. That's the permission level. The permission level, people follow because they want to. They want to follow you. Now remember, as a leader here, I want you to identify where you are with certain people that you're working with. And by the way, your personal life as well. So this is where you build relationships, and people, they want to follow you. They know that you care. They know that you love them. In fact, you're saying it out of love. I shared with the group earlier today that I had to tell my daughter no about something that I know she really wanted me to say yes, but because I had the relationship with her, and I made the call yesterday, and I said, Milan, hey, you know Dad loves you, right? She said, of course, Dad. And I said, no, like unconditional love. Like there's nothing you can do. There's not a mistake you can make that will cause me to love you less. And she's like, you're about to tell me no, aren't you? She's been around too many leadership conferences. And I said, yeah, baby, I'm going to tell you no, Dad is not comfortable with that decision. And she's like, I figured you would say no, but I thought I asked. She already knew. But it was on relation. I could say certain things to her because she knows how much I love her, and it didn't make her feel like I loved her less. In fact, you never know, depending on the consequences of some of the other kids whose parents say yes, she may say, Dad, thank you for loving me enough to say no. Okay. So permission is totally based on relationship. Now, you should know, again, there's bad and good at every level. You should know that, right? So, for an example, with position, do you know that there's some people at lower positions that are actually greater leaders than people who are at higher positions? Do you know that? So I just don't want you to think you're bad if you're at position. So as you identify where you are with certain people, it's not a bad thing. It's just for you to identify where you are so you can work from that. So if you say, look, right now, I really haven't built a relationship with this new associate. Like I couldn't tell you their kids' names. I don't know really much about them. They don't know much about me. Then really I'm at level 1 with that associate. I have to be honest with myself, and that's okay. It doesn't mean I'm a bad leader. It just means I've identified where I am with that person. And that means that now I've got to ask, hey, so what's your husband's name again? Hey, what's your kid's name? So I'm getting to know them. So I'm working towards permission. You guys with me? Okay, good. So you got to realize where you are. I'm telling you, it'll help you to lead. It'll help you to actually be able to communicate with your team better. So you guys know I like to tell stories, so I thought I'd share a story with you about someone in my life who was at level 1 with me, which was position, and someone else in my life who was at level 2, which is permission. So someone was at position, someone was at permission. So I tell a whole bunch of stories, like a lot of stories. Like many of you know my stories better than I know my stories. You're like, tell the story about. I'm like, I don't remember that story. But the great thing about having all these stories in my head is that I can pull the story out, and it could be a different teaching, but I can actually apply it to a different teaching because that story can mean several different things. So I'm bringing back an old story that means something different to you today. So my mom divorced my dad when I was 11. And I was a little sad puppy. I'm the only child. I'm like, Mom, why you got to leave him? She's like, it's better, trust me. Then my dad moved out. I lived with my mom. My mom started dating this guy. Now, at the time, Robert Cooper wasn't my stepdad. He was just a guy, Mr. Robert. Now, Mr. Robert was a little different than my dad. My dad's from the country boy. Mr. Robert was very proper. And so I was used to my dad. My dad, if you ever gone to any event at his house, they had pig's feet, chitlins. I know it's spelled like chitterlings, but never say chitterlings. Right? It's chitlins. So they have that type of food. So my wife, newly married, we go over to my dad's with my aunts and his side of the family, like that whole crew. We walk in, she says, "What is the smell?" Now you gotta know my wife, because she's from the bougie side. My family on New Year's, they had pig's feet, chitlins. Her family had quiche. I'm not exaggerating. So I'm introducing people to my wife. I was like, you remember you were at the wedding? This is Tracy. They were like, "Hey, how you doing, girl? Come on in, get some food." She's like, "Oh, I'm not hungry." And so my dad said, "You got to eat something. Look at this stuff, it's good." And he had a paper plates. Now, look, they got china at Tracy's parents' house. Paper plates. He put all the chitlins on there, the pig's feet on there, hot sauce on there, vinegar on there. It made it worse. Check it out, Legal Shield. It made it worse. I know you're saying, "Where's he going?" Stick with me. Well, I'm on permission. Stick with me. Which made it worse was he took the plate, increased it, and let all the juices flow in his mouth. And Tracy, you should have seen her face. She's like, "What in the worst part of the pig guts is going on up in here?" So she snuck to the bathroom and called her mom. "Mom, you're not going to believe what's happening here." She said, "Don't worry about it, baby. Don't eat. I got quiche waiting for you in the toaster oven." Why'd I bring that up? Check it out. So I go to my mom's boyfriend's house one day, and we're eating. And I'm used to my dad. I'm used to the paper plates, crease it, let the juices flow. Lick your thumb, suck on the pig toes, spit it back on the pepper plate. That's what I'm used to. Don't judge me. But Mr. Robert, I never forget, I'm using my thumb to put some food up on the plate. And he says, "Boy, don't put your fingers in the plate." If I know what I know right now, I said, "But you just got position right now. You don't got permission." He hasn't built a relationship with me yet. He was the boyfriend. He didn't know much about me. He was trying to date my mom. He didn't have permission to lead me yet. If my dad would have been the proper one and would have said, "Son, don't put your thumb in the plate," I would have received the same thing that was said. I would have received it different because my dad was at permission level. This is why, listen to me, Legal Shield. This is why people are like, "I can't get my team to do anything. I just seem like they don't respond to me," because you're at the wrong level trying to get them to do something that you haven't yet gotten permission to do. You see what I mean? You jumped ahead. You tried to get them to do it before you built a relationship. This is why we're not a get rich quick. This is why we're different than all the other companies out there, because all they talk about is money and recruiting. We talk about building relationships, and with that, you build a big team. That's why our culture is so different. Okay. So, Level 2. Eat pig's feet and chitlins. Write that down your notes. If you go to someone who eats soul food, you're forced to do that. If you want to build a relationship, eat the swine. I'm just playing, don't do that, unless you want to. Stay at level 1. I mean, hey, it's up to you. Level 3, production. Level 3 is production. So the folks at this level, they follow you because of what the leader has done for the organization, right? These are folks who are saying, look, I'm using the relation. Remember I said that you don't step away from level 2, you build upon level 2. So you use the relationships that you've built in level 2 to actually help you to produce in level 3. So if we're not careful, check this out. Here's what people do. I shouldn't say bad leaders, but leaders who haven't learned this yet. Leave level 2 because now they're into level 3 and they think they can stop building the relationship. And a leader who stops building the relationship has left level 2 to go into level 3 and will find themselves back at level 1. Because that person says, you don't care about me. All you ever ask how many guests I have coming out. All you ever ask is how many I have coming at the end of the month to help me qualify. You're only in production, but you forgot you are built upon level 2. You're a level 2 leader now. You can never leave that. So you're always in level 2. You're just built. It's like Legos. You just added level 3 on. You guys getting this? Okay. So this is how you get folks. It's like, oh my, now you use relationships in a positive way, not using like exploiting, but using the relationships to empower. Because now you know them and you can say certain things to them that you couldn't have said before. There's tougher conversations you can have now because you have the relationship. So it's actually easier to help them to produce. And so we're talking about people who have reached level 3, but remember that they're still somebody's level 1 on their team. So you have to be careful. You have to be a chameleon because you have to remember you may have 4 people around you in this circle up. And remember, you're not a level 3 with everybody. So with this person, they just met you that night. Somebody just invited the guests out right now. You're just titled. You're just positioned. So be careful telling them, hey, what you need to be doing. Because remember, you only are positioned with them. You guys getting this? This is how folks, they like, I had a lot of people. I thought they were all interested. I thought I had a lot of people coming with me. Yeah, because you treat them all the same and you were at level 1 with them. Now at level 3, the great thing, the beautiful thing about level 3, production, again, once you know this, you can't unknow it. This is what I love about coming to events like this. You know it now, and some of you who have been, some of us, I should say, who have been at 4 and 5 and 10 people on our team, and then it dropped back to 3 and 2, and then we are at 25, and now we got 4 people working. We're like, I don't get it, but you came here, you sacrificed, you gave yourself one more shot. You said, look, I've been working my legal business, and it's something you're going to hear this weekend that changes you're a platinum now in the making because of something you learned so far. You haven't even gone throughout the weekend. And you couldn't figure out, you're like, I got an ED, but then I lose the ED. I got a senior director, and I lose a senior director. And helping people to produce creates loyalty. But you got to have a relationship there too. But once you build upon a relationship, you help them produce. This level gives you credibility. At this point, it increases your influence. This is when someone's more influential because they say, look, I saw what you did for those 3. Can I be number 4? You see what I mean? Look. It's easy just to build relationships if that's all you want to do. But remember, people have come into Legal Shield to make money too. So depending on if it's a nonprofit, there's other things that you could do and you could do really well at without necessarily diving deep into level 3. But when you're in a business like ours, level 3 is critical because people need to make some money. Yes? Is it okay for me to say that? Yeah, and so people need to make some money. So what happens here is that checks go up, morale goes up, production goes up. It's amazing what starts to happen at level 3, because now people are actually producing. They're like, thank you. I can't thank you enough. I paid my child's tuition this month. I can't thank you enough. I never taken a honeymoon, but I was able to take my wife somewhere now. I can't thank you enough. So now production's happening, which creates loyalty. Now you've got credibility. Now they're edifying you more, but you got to have level 3 on your side. Some of us have amazing relationships. You're like, but I build relationships. Yes, but you've never gone to level 3. And level 3, here's a hard one. Level 3 starts with you producing. You got to produce and say, look at what we can do together. You can't say, here's what you need to do, because now you're in management, not leadership. You guys got that? Okay, good. So level 3 is production, and people just want to know about the results. Look, how can you help me to earn some income? Some people want to jump into a relationship with you at level 3, but if you don't create the level 2 relationship with them, yes, you can still help them make money without knowing them well. But what you'll find is that attrition starts to rule the day. People start leaving fast. Do you know that people can make $1,000 in Legal Shield and still quit? Like, it's the craziest thing. You're like, but they made money. Yeah, because it was just level 3 there, no level 2. You've heard it said before, right? People will stick around for the relationships and the friendships that they build. So even if they make money, but there's no relationship, a lot of people still go join other things where they make less money, but have a relationship. Okay. You guys okay? All right, give me a couple more and we'll be done. Level 4, this is the fun one right here. People development. Take these notes, guys. Remember, ACT, whether you have to apply, maybe you say, I've never heard this ever before, so I need to apply this. I've never even heard it. You can't even put a C next to it because it's not changing. Perhaps you've never heard it before. Or maybe you felt like, man, I was doing some things wrong with level 4, with level 3, so C, change on that particular note that you're taking. This is the reason why I always tell people you can't just say, I'll go get the information. I realize it's probably tough for you to make it out to Salt Lake City. I'll go and bring my notes back, because the notes you're taking right now may not apply to the person that you're going to take the notes back for. This is why you have to get your teams to come so they can see where they are, because where they are, you may not be. Yes? Okay. So at this level here, people development, people follow because of what the leader has done for them. For them. So let me try to figure out the best way to teach this one, because at this level, it's not necessarily what you've done for them in terms of results. It's your investment in them. See, so level 3 is about results. You guys get that? So level 3, if you're taking notes, make sure you wrote the word results down next to it, because it's all about results. It's like, man, I can't believe you helped me to whatever those results were, right? Level 4 is not necessarily about results. It's what you've done for them. It's the investment in them. So this takes a while to get to this level. John Maxwell says that from level to level, it takes a longer time and more commitment and more effort for each level. Did y'all get that note? For an example, to give someone a position doesn't take a whole lot of effort. Like, I could place people below a whole lot of folks if I wanted to and make them a director. And making them a director didn't really require a lot of effort from that person. You guys, so they're just at level 1, even though they are at a higher rank. They're still at level 1 because they're only titled. They've not built a relationship with anybody in their organization, possibly. So what happens is, John Maxwell says it takes longer between every level because it takes more effort, more commitment. So it takes more commitment to build a relationship than for someone to give you a position. It takes more effort for you to help someone to get a result than it does to build a relationship. So at each level, it's tougher, right? To build a relationship, I can really build a relationship with you quickly because I can actually be interested in you. And most people aren't interested in other people. And so for me to show interest in you and to say things like, hey, how was your son's football game? Hey, they're like, man, I can't believe you remembered that. I can build that relationship quite quickly. And some of you can too, right? Because you're skilled in that area, right? You've been building relationships for a while if you've been around with Legal Shield. But to actually invest in someone isn't an overnight thing, right? It's not a one-time thing. So listen to me. When I'm using leadership throughout these 5 levels, I'm using it as a verb. Leadership in this case is a process. It's not a one-time thing. It's not a one and done. So these levels aren't a one and done. I hope I've said that enough, right? It's not a one-time, I built the relationship. No, it's not. It's you're building the relationship. It's not, I helped them to PC qualify. No, I'm helping them to continue to Performance Club qualify. So leadership, as I'm talking about it with the 5 levels, is a verb. It's action. It's ongoing. It's not a noun. It's not a one-time thing. Everybody with me? So level 4 is investment, right? Like production can win the game, but people development wins championships. So level 3, results, production can win a game, right? Because you've got your 1,400 in premium. Yes, I hit ED. It can win the game. It can help you to win the month. But developing people wins the championship. Right? This is when you've got a bench. So you got first string, second string, third string. This is people development I'm talking about. Right? Alan's familiar with that. This is people development. This is what I'm talking about, where you invest, you spend time with people. This happens at the meeting after the meeting. This happens when you're at their house to midnight. And this is why it's tough for folks. They're like, well, it's hard. I had to get home for the kids. I get it. Look, I'm not asking that you go for level 4. I'm just saying if you desire to be level 4, it's going to take some investment. It's going to take some sacrifice because it doesn't seem like work. You don't see the return right away. You're just like, why am I in the garden still sowing seed? But one day this harvest comes that you can't stop from coming in. And there's an income that flows that I'm trying to describe to you as this ex-mall worker. That when you just sow and people are like, man, you get rich yet, man? You make $1 million yet? I had to hear all that crap from crazy people, right? Who've been working for 30 years ain't rich yet. But for 3 years, they're like, you rich yet? You make any money yet? They just, if it worked that well, everybody should be succeeding. But what they didn't understand was level 4, people development. And people development is not an overnight thing, is what I'm trying to share with you. To impress upon you, that takes time. For people to say, man, you've invested in me. It creates this level of camaraderie, of loyalty, because now not only have you built a relationship, not only have you helped them to win, but now that they see that you are invested in them. And that takes time, because a whole lot of folks talk the talk. A whole lot of folks do it one time. A whole lot of folks say, man, but I did the sit down for you. I did the 3-way for you. That's no investment. That's to help to get results. Investment is when you don't get anything in return right away. It's long term. It may take you 10 years to really develop the type of leaders who are Michael Dorsey, new $600,000 ring earner. It may take you years. But the wonderful thing about our industry, let me press this real quick. The wonderful thing about our industry is a little different than reproduction, because in our industry, it's duplication. In our industry, it's duplication. So here's the magical part about what we do. Give me a few minutes, guys, and I'll be done. Here's the wonderful thing about our industry, and I just love it. I love this industry. Like, I can't find words to articulate how in love I am with this industry, because I get to see people win all the time. And here's the wonderful thing about the industry. I was able to put people in position to win when I was still a positional leader. I was able to put them in position to win when I was still a positional leader. How in the world is that possible except for this industry? Because what happens in our industry is that I can be a positional leader. I've just met you. All you know is my title, right? I'm a senior associate, but hey, look, I'm a part of an organization. I'm a part of a company that's empowering people. It's helping to liberate people. It's helping to free people up by making a difference, by adding value with our services, both privacy management and leveling the legal playing field. And listen, I'm new. I can't tell you much about it. I just can't believe I get to be a part of something like this. But what I can do and what I will do for you is put you in front of some folks who are just amazing. They're down to earth, right? I have an amazing relationship with them. They help me when they don't have to. A lot of people having success don't continue to reach back. When they reach back, they make themselves available for me. See, I'm talking about the relationship I have with the leader. And what happens is I blend the relationship, my level 2, my permission, with this platinum that I'm working with this executive that I'm working with, and this person I just have a positional relationship with, and I put them together, and all of a sudden I'm at people development. This is the most amazing thing. You guys see how this works? So now this person, check this out. This person is helping this person to produce. This person is helping this person to become better. Meanwhile, I'm learning from it all because I'm here with them. I'm not saying go by yourself. I'm with them at the Fast Start training. I'm with them at the convention. You see? And so while this is happening for them, I'm with them because remember, I'm the link for them. And so while I'm with them, this person gets to grow on behalf of this person who's doing it on my behalf and their behalf, and it's a win-win-win scenario. This is why I love the industry. It produces all these win scenarios where there isn't a loser. So everyone wins. It's people development. Last one. This one's a tough one. Most people never hit this one, just to be honest with you. I mean, John Addison, who you'll hear from tomorrow, said earlier in a meeting that we were in that this business can be hard. Sometimes we make it seem it's easy, but it can be tough. Would you all agree? Yeah, it can be tough. And so we have to be careful making it seem so easy, but it's worth it, isn't it? It's so worth it. And so this pinnacle level, which is funny because Brian Carruthers' team name is Team Pinnacle. And he certainly is a pinnacle leader. Let's give it up for our number one income earner, Mr. Brian Carruthers. So people follow this leader because of who they are and what they represent. This is the one level that, and I'm trying to find a way to say this because I don't want everyone to stop working, but what happens when you get to the pinnacle level is that your reputation precedes you. So even without you continuing to be the leader who you used to be, the pinnacle level is a level that helps you to transcend position. It transcends industry. And in other words, some people say, look, that person has not only gained a reputation inside of Legal Shield, people now know him in the industry. They now know her outside the industry. You know what I'm talking about. Their leadership is so great that it even transcends anything that they've done with the thing that's helped them to get to that leadership level. The reason why it's tough to get to this level, because this person, this leader, this female, this male, has helped leaders voluntarily develop other leaders. Like they choose to invest the same amount of time that the pinnacle leader developed. And that's tough to find leaders who say, look, you no longer have to tell me. They're registered before you're registered. In fact, watch this one. They got team registered before you got registered. So now leading beyond you. This is why it's tough for a lot of people who have not hit at least the people development stage to lead young people, to lead people who have a higher education, to lead entrepreneurs or volunteers like many of us are, all of us are in this room, because a lot of those folks are independent. And because they're independent, people who are only at position aren't really able to lead them because they try their best and they end up saying, well, because I've been in longer, they start using titles. And so what I'd ask that you do is, one, identify where you are in your leadership right now. But two, identify the different relationships that you have with different people, especially people that you're going to be working with to help get to their next level. And where are you with them? Are you positional? Are you at permission? Are you at production? Are you at people development? Or are you at pinnacle? This pinnacle level helps you to create a legacy in what you do, right? It helps you to create a name for your family. And I'd ask that you maybe set a goal, if you've never done it before, to be a pinnacle leader. It means that you've not only developed people, but you've now taught those people how to develop people. You're teaching to teach. So I wrote down a couple of notes for you that I thought I'd share with you. Just now that you know what the 5 levels are, I thought I'd share with you just a little bit in my last 3 minutes that I have here to really help you to wrap your minds around now how to move through them, how to work with these levels of leadership so that you can become better by the end of this presentation. You guys want to hear about it? All right. So, one, hopefully you already took this note. You never leave a level you only build upon a level. Did you guys remember that one, right? So if you didn't take that note, take that one, because again, well, as I'm working with my team, it's funny because if you're on my team, you're probably like, oh, that's what he does to me. Oh, that's what he does to me. Because I've been working the 5 levels of leadership for a long time. And so, but what I realize is that I have a different relationship even with some of my senior directors now, because I'm at a higher level now. So some folks I just meet when they're an executive director. But just because I'm just meeting them and I'm a platinum and they're executive doesn't mean that I have a people development relationship with them. I really only have a position relationship because I never had a conversation with them. You guys getting this? So I'll always have to reflect when I'm meeting someone, Darnell, remember this is position right now, build the relationship. You see that? So my first intent is, so are you originally from such and such? It's to build a relationship first. Because I got to remember, I'm building level 2 with them. You guys got that one? Okay, I just went back to it because I want to make sure you got it down. I wrote it because these are your takeaways to make sure that you don't unintentionally jump from a level because you've got 4 people around and 3 of them, you're at level 3 and the one you're level 1. I just want to make sure you don't treat the level 1 like you're at level 3 with them. Got it? Okay, good. Stick with me. Got a couple of minutes. The next one is there's going to take a lot of personal effort on your side in order to move from these levels. I made it seem simple because I did this entire presentation is like 35 minutes, right? And so I made it seem like, oh, man, you can just move, but I told you it's going to take a little bit of time. I just don't know anyone who's achieved maximum success with minimal effort. I don't know that person. And if someone makes it seem like that, they're really lying. Right? There's some work. And so I just want you to know, even in building relationships, some people make it really hard for me to build a relationship with them. Right? No, let's just say this. Look, you don't necessarily have to like everybody. But if you're leading them, they should like you. Let me say it one more time. Look, you don't have to like, I'm not asking that you like everybody. But if you're leading them, they should like you. Now, you can manage them and they not like you, because remember, management is different. They're only following you pretty much because you have a position and you're telling them you need to do this, and they'll do it just because it's positional, right? It's in the rights, it's in the policies. So I just want you to know, as a sidebar, you're going to have to work. I share this with my fellow field leaders, so I'll just say it again to the masses. And that is, smoothing things over isn't the same as making things right. Let's say it one more time. Smoothing things over isn't the same as making things right. Right? Smoothing things over is like, hey, listen, let's just move beyond it. You know, we're just going to have to agree to disagree. And that's okay as long as you're not leading them. If you're managing them, it's okay to do that. But if you're leading them, it's not okay. We got to make this right, at least to a place. We can still disagree, but we have to be in a place where you know that, listen, no matter what, that disagreement is not going to place a wedge in our relationship. You guys getting this? So smoothing things over, my gosh, I'm just telling you what I've learned. I thought I had made things right, but what I did was smooth some things over, and people brought it back up years later. It's like, dude, I never told you this, but I've always had a hard time when I hear you say this and this, because there was one time in 2013, I'm like, dude, you held on to this for that long? But I never made it right. I didn't know I needed to make it right. So all I'm saying is that I'm making it sound easy, guys, but you may have to spend some time, remember the verb, building relationships, and keep staying in there. Because if you keep the relationship building process going the entire time, people will say to you, hey, I never said this to you, but it was a couple of years ago. I just wanted to apologize. It's been on me. I never said it, but forgive me. I think I said something in front of other people that was disrespectful. I should have pulled you aside. With the relationship, people they'll make it right. But not everybody. Some folks, quite frankly, aren't meant to be in our business because they don't like people, period. Is that okay to say that? They just don't like people. They're like, I hate people. I don't like being around people. You probably shouldn't recruit that person. Okay. So I throw that out there. The last point I wanted to make on the the 5 levels here. I could really go on and on, but there's another level that we'll have to talk about with maybe with executives and above or senior directors and above. There's not another level of leadership, but a deeper dive that I don't think is appropriate for this particular presentation. But I will say this that I think is appropriate, and that is there's a level of sacrifice that happens at each level. Even with a position leadership, there's a level of sacrifice. But as you go up, there's more and more sacrifice. For an example, I'll never forget sharing with this young lady that, hey, look, I'll be happy to do a game plan interview with you. I'll be happy to sit down with you. She said, oh, man, thank you so much. I can't believe it, because I'm already a platinum at this point, right? And so she's new. I'm going to do a game plan interview. I didn't personally introduce her. She was introduced by some other people on my team, but that doesn't matter to me, right? I'll work with anybody. If I have the time, I can put it in my calendar, I will. So I put it in the calendar, and I said, hey, look, I'll meet you, no worries. Which she didn't know, because it wasn't on her. Listen, if I have to tell people what I'm giving up to meet with you, I'm using the wrong leverage. So I shouldn't have to say, well, man, I'll do it, but I was going to do this, I was going to do that. Like, we shouldn't even do that in our personal relationship. If you're going to do it, just do it. If you're not, don't. You shouldn't say, well, I did have this going on. Just don't do it. So I could have told her, look, I was going to spend time with my kids, but because I'm in a place of people development, you got to give up some stuff. Remember I said it takes you some time. So check this out. So I told her, yes, I'll meet with you. Half an hour before, I was going to leave my house to meet with her. Right before, she says, hey, I'm so sorry. I hope you didn't leave yet. I said, no, not yet. I was about to walk out the house. She's like, I'm not going to be able to meet with you tonight. I said, that's okay. We can schedule another time. I said, thanks for calling me. She said, well, the reason, I didn't even ask for a reason, but she said the reason being is because I feel bad getting a babysitter for my son. And I said, oh, that's okay. I understand. I have kids. Kids come first. She was like, yeah, I just feel like, I shouldn't leave him in order to come to the meeting. And I said, that's okay. And she's like, well, all right, let me just be completely honest with you. And she's like, I'm tired. I worked all day. And I said, you're married, right? She's like, yeah. I said, your husband home? She's like, yeah. I said, so your son could stay with your husband? Because all it takes is a half an hour. And by the way, I choose to do game plan interviews in person, even though I can do them Zoom, because it's all about culture building for me. So if they're close by, I choose to do it this way. But here's what she said. She's like, I'm actually tired. And here's my point to you all. Even though I'm at a place where I'm willing to build a relationship, I'm at a place where I'm willing to sacrifice and do people development, I just want you to know it's not as easy as I'm making it sound, because she was at a place where she wasn't willing to give up to build a relationship. She wasn't willing to sacrifice to build a relationship. So what I'm teaching you now is one way, but it does require the same effort on the other side to want to build a relationship. You guys getting this? And I took that note for you because I just want you to know there's a lot of folks, I'm willing to. I'm at the level, all right? I'm at a level where I'm willing to give. I'm willing to sacrifice. Look, Daniel Abbott's daughter, Maddie Jo, turns 1 today, but he's here. By the way, he's a new Millionaire Club member as of yesterday. Let's give it up for Mr. Daniel Abbott. But look, check it out. I got to close. Here, look, check it out. Maddie Jo is 1 today. I missed my daughter's birthday, Milan, when she was 1. And people are like, man, I can't believe you gave her your daughter's first birthday. Well, first of all, she didn't know she was turning 1. When I said happy birthday, she didn't even say thank you. She something, right? Didn't blow out her own 1 candle. Her big brother spit all over the cake. But check this out. Daniel Abbott, right? And I don't know if he had the same thing that I had, but people were like, man, I can't believe you did that. But if he was in the military, people would say, man, I pray God's blessings on you, that you get back safely. It would have been excused if he was in the military. Right? Look, check it out. If he was in the NFL or a professional athlete, it would have been excused. Hey, look, but daddy's playing on TV. Let's turn on TV. It would have been excused because he's playing ball. Right? If he worked at Home Depot and had to work all day and couldn't be there for Maddie Jo, it'd be okay. It's okay because daddy's at work. But because you're an entrepreneur and you have the choice to sacrifice or not, people will make it seem as though you're wrong. But you should know the decision to give up now, to have a whole lot later on, is your decision, not other people's decision over your life. So you make the difference. You make the choice. You make the change. And I'll see you all over the top. God bless you all.